6th of November 2021. Missing in action for almost 2 long months. My goodness, I can't even believe that I took such a break, like literally 2 months of break doing something around this whole documenting the new normal stuff. I know I was very regular on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis, but this is the first time I took such a long break. To be honest, kind of in September, I knew I had kind of missed going into the recording part. There were a lot of things that kept me busy. But the October, I just decided that by end of October, like literally the 30th or 31st, which was actually a weekend, I thought that I will do it then. But again, so many things kept me busy, and I don't even know when those 2 months went by. But anyway, better late than never. Let me probably document things like what really happened over the last 2 months. I'm not really sure how many things I remember, how many things I forget, what happened, what not happened, but there are few key things which I want to highlight. And there is no order of sequence to which happened first, which happened next, but I just take it out on the flow and talk about it. First thing first is September is a month where we do have the main Ganesha festival, which is one of my favorite, my main or our main festival here in our house. The first time ever, the first time ever in my life or in our life, we got a chance to keep an actual mud Ganesha in our house. So traditionally, we never keep the mud Ganesha because, like, said that like you bring Ganesha, you should not send him back or whatever, like that. But this time around, we were gifted a mud Ganesha in our neighborhood temple, and that actually, I mean, I don't know, for a very long time, I had been trying to speak to my mom, my aunt, everyone, convincing them, shall we bring, and all. But this time it kind of like came in as a blessing in disguise. So first time ever in our life in this house also, we kept a Ganesha, the mud Ganesha, which was very special, and the festival was fantastic. And this would remain as one of the most memorable festival of this year or for my life or whatever. Because like I told you, we have never kept it. Uh, in my childhood, when I used to keep variety of Ganeshas in my old house as a mark of the Ganesha festival celebration, I was never allowed to bring a mud Ganesha, but this time around, he himself came to our house, which is, I would take it as a blessing from his side. So that's on a more religious side. And again, we did have Dasara festival that was quite simple this time around, not too grand because of the disastrous thing that happened last year. The accident, rather, the accident that happened right in front of my house and it damaged my car last festival on the Ayush Puja day. I was very cautious and I wanted to keep it very low profile and all. But even then, there was some other issue that happened, like just about 2 to 3 days before the festival. I'd taken my car out for the pollution under check certification thing, and after I came back, I just realized that I had left one of the windows open, which means that all the heavy rain that we had over the last, I mean, during the festival time, all the water had seeped into the car and it had made the complete carpet wet, stinky. The fungus had started forming. Thankfully, the service center near my house, they helped me drying it up to a certain extent, cleaning and drying it up to a certain extent, but they did tell that I need to park my car out in sun uh, for like at least a day with windows open or something like that so that complete water evaporates and the smell goes off. But unfortunately, the rain never allowed us to do it, and whatever little bit of travel that I did in my car in the last 1 week, that helped a bit, but that is almost after a month of that incident. But I think it will take some more time for it to completely come back to a normal smell and shape and all those stuff. But that's one thing which happened there. Now back to the thing related to my um, apartment. I had mentioned about the apartment that I'm searching in August. and I kind of finalized on the one one of the many that we had seen, started negotiating, started thinking about the down payments and the loans and all those stuff. That I think probably I don't want to call it as like a issue, but that exactly is the point which derailed me of the entire thing. Like this whole process of we having to buy this apartment and the decision to make, the money involved, the down payment involved, later on which snowballed into this whole uh, the bank or my credit report issue is what kept me totally occupied over the last 2 months. So basically, I somehow managed to get the down payment done for the apartment. The next action point was to apply for the loan so that they can initiate the remaining installments and all those stuff. And that's exactly when the what I can call like the meteor struck or the asteroid struck. The bank manager called me up the day after I applied for the loan, and she mentioned to me that I have some huge issues with my credit report. I was surprised, like, why does she mention such a big issue or a huge issue? And she told, like, did you have any issues with your credit card? I told, like, I did have. That was, like, way back in 5 years ago, something like that. And I've cleared it and I've closed my card. There isn't anything like that. She told that I have a due of huge money and I have, like, defaulted a couple of loans and all. That shook me a little bit, and I just asked her, like, can you give me more details around it? And that's exactly when she gave me the credit report, and I realized that it was a complete mess. It was a huge mess wherein somebody else's loan and credit card and all were getting reflected in my credit report. As a matter of fact, my own name, my own address, my own phone number, or for the matter, even the email address were not correctly showing up in my own credit report. So that's when the big fight, big struggle started. I will not call it a fight, but uh, spent days together trying to figure out why it has happened, what has happened, and why it is affecting me and everything. Then realized that there was an option to raise a dispute within the CIBIL itself, which is the authority, the common authority which does all this credit report management thing. Um, Raised few dispute there, and then became a little bit impatient because it was quite a big issue. So in that way, started approaching the banks also directly, wherein I started writing to them stating that yes, this is not me. The loan, the credit cards or the loans that you have been showing up against my name is not. I have not taken it. I don't have any relationship with the bank. So overall, this whole thing, I think it was started around 7th of October, and even till today, this is 6th of November. Even this morning, I went to the bank. I just gave the manager an update. Few of them are resolved, few of them are yet to be resolved, but I do have an update that they'll be resolved anytime soon. But there's a lot of cleanup to be done. The cleanup part is not something which will affect me yet, I assume, but the cleanup is something which I'm working on as well. So this is something which completely took away my um, time, mind, everything over the last 1 month. So finally, I think it's coming to a good shape. So probably another week or two is when we should expect the loan process to be completed and everything to be back on track. So that's my peace of mind is back. So next thing is like a couple of travel that I did, and surprisingly, first time in a very long time, these travel were done not in my own car, and for 2 consecutive weekends I had to rent cars, rent bigger cars to be more precise. The reason being, the first time it was a quick trip to Nanjangud, quick as in a weekend trip to Nanjangud. We wanted to go here after the festival. It was something to do with some formality or ritual that we had to do in our in-laws' place because my wife's grandmother had passed away recently, and as a ritual, they had to go there. And 7 of us had to go, and there was no way I could have accommodated 7 people in my car. So booked a car, went to Mysore, came back, and then the very subsequent week on a weekday, ended up going to the temple, or Malayalam as we call it, which is there in Kagadi, which is about like around 175 kilometers from Bangalore. That this time again, instead of like only me, wife, my kid, and my dad and mom, we took my aunt also along, and obviously my nephew. This means that again, six of us can't go in my car, so had to rent a bigger car. It was a new experience for me. Like, I'm not that I've not done it. I've done it once in the past. I just realized it was like about 2 years back. But two back-to-back trips, not in my car, and to long distance, like around 300 to 400 kilometer journeys, that was something new to me, and that definitely took some big beating of the wallet for to be more precise. Because these are expensive things. Like, I mean, going in our own car, that means that, okay, you have just put in the fuel, but when you're renting a car, it's like so many variables come into picture, and again, the cost involved is almost two to three folds. So that was the temple run kind of a thing. In between all those things, coming to my own vehicle stuff, again, I don't know if I mentioned it in the past, but time and again, I just realized that I need to get away from uh, get rid of my bike. Not been using it much. Probably, I think I went out just once in September. Uh, After that, nothing at all. And entire October, like I would have probably used it for a few shorter trips, just like not even trips, I would call it like household chores stuff. So I decided that I will give off my bike, convince my wife, and kind of communicated it to my mom as well. Have listed it on online. Quite a few people reached out. Many people were asking for like uh, a big discount or bargain. I was not convinced with that, and then I spoke to the service center itself. They themselves told like they were not really sure that if I can get what I am expecting. One of the guys actually, in fact, came and saw the bike also while I was there in one of the service centers. So things are going on. I don't know. I'm a bit torn between what to do. Keep the bike, if yes. I mean, it's an expensive bike, though not an expensive premium bike, but again, I mean, keep an expensive bike and not using it much, and on top of it, whether give it off for a very low price. It's a bit confusing thing. I'm not made up my mind. Until I get a deal which is convincingly good enough, I don't think I'll go for it. But what next is something which is still under dilemma. So I've not made up any mind regarding that. Whether I take a small bike, whether I take a big bike. Taking a small bike and leaving it as it is, that's fine. Not too much of a cost. But if at all, if I take a big bike, maybe sometime like early next year, and if I don't use it much, that would mean a lot of trouble to me. So again, I'm in a dilemma. And alternatively, I've been thinking like, if not for a big bag, let's take a small car at least. That will make it easy for us to travel within the city and all. So again, a lot of confusion. Whenever I make up that decision, I'll talk about it. Next thing is Halloween. Why am I mentioning Halloween is because of the fact that this time around we didn't have much time. Like rather, my sister could send any costume for my kid for the Halloween. She was giving certain suggestions, and we also tried to search for a few things online. Nothing materialized, and it went almost till the last day. And even on Sunday, the last Sunday of October, we went to a mall, tried to search for some party costume and all those things, didn't get it. And what I eventually ended up doing is turn my daughter into a ghost, especially the Casper. And why I'm mentioning all these things is like first time like I did this like crazy thought, like the entire thought process and the execution took about like probably an hour or something. Wherein I just told in my house that I will pick up a white towel, plain white towel, fold it into half, stitches on the side, and cut open on the center from the top so that she can wear it like a t-shirt. And that's it. Like probably apply some white excess powder, talcum powder on the face, make a messy hair, which will end up making her look like probably like a ghost. And it actually ended up well. I mean, it might not be 100% successful in the way the whole thing turned out because it all happened in the evening, little at night, few minutes before like the actual me planning for the photo shoot and all. We didn't take a proper formal photo shoot, but again, it was fun that like We thought about so many stuff like a Masha costume, we thought about like a witch costume, that this and all stuff, and essentially ended up doing some DIY stuff. This is a towel of all the things a towel, which was funny. Anyway, that was about Halloween, which I wanted to document because it's something memorable and it's definitely something which I want to come back and listen to in future, in few years down the line or whenever that happens. Last but not the least is one very shocking incident that happened around us. Not specifically my family, but one of the very popular actor, a very famous and a top actor in the Kannada film industry, Punit Rajkumar. He passed away in the last week of October. That was a huge shock. When I say huge, it's really a huge shock, not only for us, but for the complete film industry across the country and most of the fans, because he was just like 46 years old. He was fit, healthy, extremely active. I mean, if you see him and if you know about his lifestyle, you can easily tell that he's probably the fittest and the healthiest person around, like that, and all like that. But he died of a massive cardiac arrest. And the first time when my wife told me that morning that he's been admitted to hospital, and it was like the news was spreading around in social media, I couldn't believe that. Later on, from that moment till probably like afternoon when the news came that he passed away, till the next 2 3 days when they kept his body for public viewing and his cremation also. I mean, I kind of like very much glued to the screen, like either in YouTube or in the TV news channel. Somehow this whole incident shook me up. Like, I mean, this is not the first time I'm seeing a very healthy person or somebody associated with fitness possible like this, because I've seen 2 to 3 incidents like this in past happen right in front of me in my gym, in my fitness center. And that kind of started giving me thought like, okay, what about all this? Like, however fit you are, you will die. However not fit you are, you will die. Just go out and enjoy the moment and things like that. Like a lot of negative thoughts, depressing thoughts, and I mean, it was a very low time during that like last 1 week, and my mind was pushing me to go and watch things about him, learn about him, and all. He's gone. Like, there's no point in learning things about. But he was such a humble guy. I had an opportunity to meet him in person twice. To be more precise, 3 times. But the very first time I met, that was when he had come to our college for shooting, and I was not too attached to all this film and all those things then. But when I actually got into this whole creative field, I started. I mean, I met him twice, and both the times I could like give it in writing that he was such a humble and down to earth person, and losing him was like a very big loss to not only his family but the entire film fraternity and also the fans. So that kind of shook me a little bit. Even as of now, I'm not really sure if I like come out of that thought and all. It keeps bothering me, but that's what happened, which is disturbing. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if I have anything. I seriously don't want to talk anything about the office because it continues to be as whatever it is. And there's no point in me documenting all the rubbish that happens in office in this kind of a journal, because it might sound like a repetitive or sometimes worse or anything, but definitely not good. So office stuff, I'll force myself not to talk about it. Having said that, it's 6th November and we just came back from a 3 day trip to Bandipur. Me, my wife, and my kid had been there. My kid wanted to go to forest, so I just took her there. Probably I'll tell in detail of what happened there in the November journal and document it there, because I don't want to lose the track of what's happened, what's documented, what's not documented. So as it happened in November, I'll keep it for November itself. But that's it. Yes, yeah. Before I forget, yes, finally I'm back on the Apple ecosystem, especially the iPhone. So picked up an iPhone during the Dasara time. That's one of the biggest addition to my gadget collection. I know it's been a very, very, very long time since I was using iPhone, and I've been an Android fanboy. Now back to iPhone, which makes it very special, very confusing, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying taking photos and videos in it. So anything further, probably let's catch up in the November channel.